Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kim, and today we are going to be planning my April TBR. And the month of April is my birthday month, so I thought it would be fun. I was talking to some of my friends, like trying to figure out what should I do for my April TBR? Like, should I have my dogs pick again? Should I use the cards again? And I was like, but it is my birthday month. I was like, what can I do? And they were like, well, why don't you like theme stuff around birthday and stuff like that? I was like, oh my God, that's a good idea. So I took that, run with it. So these books range from like being about like birthdays, having a connection to me in some sort of way, or like my birth month, and also just some of my favorites, favorite authors, favorite genres. So I'm like really excited about that. So let's get into what I'm going to be reading in April. I guess actually, let me do first. So one of them doesn't fit that in that group because I am a part of my friend's book club, and I do need to read that book this month. So the first book on my TBR is going to be Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. I've seen so much about this book. I've seen it all over social media. And I've been wanting to read it. I knew we were going to be doing it in her book club, so I held off on reading it. So this will probably be one of my first reads of the month, I would imagine. So if you don't know, this is like a dark gothic romantasy as far as I know. I don't like, I've said it many times, I like to kind of go through into things pretty blind. I believe this book has like trials, and I think it has something to do with like sisters, because I know I've heard it compared to Caraval, but like a more adult Caraval, and that's all I really know about it, and that's all I want to know about it going in. So this is going to be probably one of the first books I do read this month. Okay, so we have that one. Like I said, it doesn't fit the theme. I mean, like, I enjoy a dark romance or dark romantasy, so I guess that could fit into a favorite, but it's not really part of like the 9 other books I fit to kind of fit the theme of like birthday or like my favorites and stuff like that. So we're going to have 10 books all together this month, which makes me a little nervous because I did pick 10 books last month. And it is now March 26th. And one of the books I had on my TBR for last month, I'm not going to be able to get to because it was going to be a buddy read with a friend, and she just has not had time this month to read it. So we're shelving that until she is able to. But I still have 2 other books that I had picked for that TBR that I need to try to read in the next few days. So I am a little nervous about 10, of doing another 10 books for this month, but I figure I'm going to push myself. I am taking some time off around my birthday too, so like I'm going to have a little bit more reading time. Okay, so the first book I picked to go with the birthday theme is a book called Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. I mean, obviously the title is perfect. And the male main character in this book is 38, which I guess I'll let you guys know that is the age I'm turning. So I figured, kind of fit both things. So about Birthday Girl, the title, and then a character in there is my age. So like when I first started to like research stuff for this, I typed in like books about birthdays. I think about like romance books about birthdays or something along those lines. And this was the very first book that popped up, and I was like, oh, perfect. Let me read the synopsis. And then I read the synopsis. And I was a little like, do I want to read that? Because, I mean, there's not a whole lot said in the synopsis, but this is an age gap. And it is a very large age gap. And I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before. Age gaps kind of make me a little uncomfortable, especially like this, because she is 19, just turned 19. And like I said, he is 38. But I've heard a lot of people like it, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try it out. Like I said, it fits the theme. From what I've read on the synopsis, it's like, the male main character lets his son and his girlfriend move in with him, and then he starts to have feelings for the girlfriend. So again, there's like multiple things wrong there, age gap, boyfriend's dad, I don't know, but we're gonna read it. Like last month I read a stepbrother's romance, okay? So we're getting out of our comfort zone here when it comes to the tropes. So that will be the first book I read. Or, well, I mean, maybe not in the order, but that is one of the books I'm reading. Another book I am gonna read is called Black Knight by Rena Kent, and I'm gonna read this one because the female character in this book is named Kimberly, so I figured, okay, that fits the theme. It was very hard to find a book with a female main character named Kimberly. I don't know, maybe there's more out there. If you know of more books with Kimberly characters, let me know. I tried Googling it, and like all Google wanted to give me was either books with I found like books with like small character, like, like side characters named Kimberly. And then it just kept giving me books with authors, with the name Kimberly. I am so sorry if you guys can hear Ricky snoring. She's sleeping on the chair, and I don't have the heart to wake her up. And she's kind of snoring, not too loud, but I'm sure you probably can hear her. I just don't have the heart to wake her up. But anyways, so I have actually really been wanting to read Rena Kent's books. She's like well known for like the dark romance, for dark romance lovers. She has like that God of Malice, what is that series called? Oh, the Legacy of Gods series. I see that everywhere. I think a new book just came out for that one. And I've always like thought about reading that one. I just haven't gone around to it. So I'm excited to try out Rena Kent. The only bad thing about this is this Black Knight is actually the fourth book of this series, a series called the Royal Elite series. They're interconnected standalones, so you can read them. It always tells you can read them as standalones, but I really would rather read the whole thing, but I don't have time to read the 3 other books before this. So we're just going to jump into book 4 and hope that, I'm not missing too much context from the world building, from not reading the other 3. So this is a dark romance. It's also like an enemies to lover. I think it's kind of like high school age, which also I'm not usually too, I think because the Royal Elite, I believe it's like a school, is from what I gather. But that's all I really know. I'm sure they're gonna hate each other and then love each other. I don't know. It's enemies to lovers. But yeah, that's all I really know about this. But it's literally the only book I could find with Kimberly as the main character. And like I said, I've been wanting to read Rena Kent. I don't know if this is necessarily one of her like more popular series or not. Because like I said, I do hear a lot about that Legacy of Gods series, but I haven't really heard a lot of anyone else, like any other series talked about from her. But I'm also like somewhat new to like the dark romance area of reading. I've been reading a lot more this year. So we're gonna read that one. So then I thought it would be fun to pick like a book with like spring vibes, since my birthday is in spring, and for that I picked Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. I think I've read one other Sarah Adams book. I think it's a sports romance. Yes, I've read the rule book, which I know is actually, I think, the second book in that series, that sports romance series she has. I remember enjoying that book. And I've heard good things about this series. I think this is the When in Rome series, and I believe this is the second book. But again, interconnected standalone, so nothing says you have to read the first one. And I own this one. I just remembered this, so this kind of fits. Last year for my birthday, my husband let me like go on a little shopping spree at Barnes & Noble, and this is one of the books I bought that day. So, it's taking me a year to read it, so it's about time. But it's the only one I own from the series. So, and like I said, look at spring vibes. She owns like a flower shop in the book. So, it doesn't get more spring than that. So this is, I think, like a fake dating, like, practice dates. The female character, Annie, is like, trying to find love, and she's not having any luck. She's starting to think like it's her. And then, the male main character, Will. He's like a bodyguard, I guess. And he's in town. I guess he's like I think the character he like bodyguards for might be one of the characters in the first book. I don't know. Don't quote me. I'm just assuming. But that character like is gonna marry Annie's brother. So somehow Will ends up like having to give her like dating tips and practice, like dating practice. So there's the fake dating trope. It sounds cute. I think it sounds like a cute little romance, and like I said, nice spring vibes. The cover's cute. Pink and flowers. I thought this worked perfect for that. So that's another one. So I don't physically own any of the other books. Luckily, most of these I'm either going to be on Kindle Unlimited, or they are just coming out this month actually, and I already have them pre-ordered. I thought for most of the other books, for one, I wanted to do books published in the month of April, and I wanted to do books from some of my favorite. There's hair. And it's just so perfect that actually 3 of my favorite authors have new books coming out this month. So 2 birds with 1 stone. Books published in April and favorite authors. So the first one is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I'm so excited for this book, and I'm actually super excited because I will be going to a Q&A like event and I'm going to be getting a book signed by her. So I'm so excited. I'm really excited for the month of April. I have like multiple book events I'm going to. You guys will hear all about it eventually. So Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I think this kind of, from what I remember reading about this book, I think the female character has like just a lot going on in her life, and she's like she meets the male main character and they have this amazing date, but she just feels like she just can't like possibly like fit in a relationship at this point in her life, so like they part ways. That's what I remember from reading a little bit about it. For me, it doesn't really even matter what it's about. It's Abby Jimenez, and I will read anything she writes. I adore the Part of Your World series. It's probably one of my favorite romance series. That whole 3-book series, I gave all those books 5 stars. Abby knows how to write a male main character. She knows how to write very complex, interesting female characters. So I am so excited for her new book. So obviously I will be reading that one next month. And that comes out, actually, I think it comes out April 1st. So that actually might be the first book I read because I'm so excited for it. So another one of my favorite authors, Emily Henry. If you've watched my videos, you know I've talked about her. I love Emily's books as well. They're not all 5-star reads for me, but like a multiple, I think like 3. How many books of her? So I've read 5 of her books, and I think 3 of them I gave 5 stars. I really only like don't love one of them, and it's not even that like I liked it, but it just wasn't my favorite, and that's People We Meet on Vacation. But I love all the other books, and I'm so excited for her new book. It comes out April 22nd, and that book's called Great Big Beautiful Life. From what I remember reading about this, it's good, like rival writers. Emily Henry loves a rivals to lovers story, let me tell you. They're like rival writers, and they're both trying to like get like this, I don't know if it's like the rights, but like this heiress, this like wealthy heiress is like, well, I'm gonna like tell them her like memoir, and I think they're both like trying to get that like story from what I remember about reading the synopsis. But again, it's Emily Henry, so again, I don't really, it's again like kind of like how it is with Abby Jimenez. It almost doesn't even really matter what it's about because I will read it. So yeah, that comes out on April 22nd. So that will definitely be read in April. Yeah. And the last of my favorite authors that has a book coming out this April is Kayla Gross. If you've been here, you've heard me talk about her. You've heard me rave about her. She has a book coming out called Change of Pace, and this is actually a full-length novel for her. She does a lot of novellas. I've talked about many of her novellas before. And this is her first full-length novel since last year. Um, so I'm very excited about this. I follow her, I'm part of her Patreon, and I follow her on social media, and she's talked about this book, and it's like very near and dear to her because she suffers from Kawasaki disease, and the female character in this book also suffers from that. So this book's about the main character Jessie, and she's like just gone through this ordeal with Kawasaki disease, and she wants to like write her bucket list, and she wants to, you know, start experiencing these things that she has on her bucket list. And like the first one of those things is to have a one-night stand. Enters the male main character Asher, and I guess they have their one-night stand, but then also he wants to help her like check things off her bucket list. And so it's kind of like a road trip romance, I think. So we're gonna have like forced proximity. I want to be surprised if we end up having a one bed trope in there somewhere. But I'm really excited for this. I'm always excited for her books. I've talked about it before. She always has female characters are always plus size. I believe in this book the male main character is also plus size, so I love that representation. I will always search out books with plus size representation. So yeah, I'm super excited for Kayla's new book. I'm hoping to get the ARC for it, but we'll see. Okay, and then the last book from a favorite author I'm going to read this month is Drive by Kate Stewart. If you've been here, you've heard me talk about Kate Stewart because you've heard me rave about the Ravenhood series, and it's probably my favorite romance series there is. But she has another duet called Drive in Reverse, and it's been out for a while. And my friend who introduced me to her books, we keep saying we're gonna buddy read it, but we just like haven't been in we know it's gonna hit. Okay, if it's anything like Ravenhood, it's gonna hit us emotionally, and we just like need to be in the headspace, and we just haven't been. And so I told her, I think we were supposed to maybe try to read it last month, and then I told her I don't think I'm going to be able to fit it in. And then when I was thinking about like, oh, favorite authors, okay, it's the perfect time to read it. So I messaged her. I was like, can you read it this month? Because I want to put it on my TBR. And she's like, yes. And I was like, are we finally ready to go through this emotional roller coaster? So Drive. So this is a duet. It's called the Bittersweet Symphony duet. Yeah, it's Drive and Reverse are the two books, and all I really know about Drive is it's about a musician, and I think it's like a second chance romance, and that's all I really know. Like I said, I've just seen people talk about it. I see people put the male main character as one of their favorite book boyfriends. I've seen people say it's going to be an emotional roller coaster, which I am not surprised whatsoever if it's Kate Stewart writing it. So those are the 4 books I'm reading from my favorite authors. And then I have 2 more books, which I wanted to pick like my favorite kind of like genres or like tropes. So if you know me and you see this, this shelf, you know I love a sports romance. So I wanted to pick a sports romance for this. And I went ahead and picked The New Guy by Serena Bowen. I've been wanting to read this series. There's 2 books out currently, and I think the 3rd book comes out this month too. It is a busy month, April. It's like, there's just like so many books coming out this month that I want to read. But I have never read, I've never read a book just by Serena Bowen. I've read multiple books that are co-authored between her and Elle Kennedy, which I've talked about on this channel before. So yeah, it's a hockey romance. It's a male-male romance. I think it's about the characters like the new player on the team, and like he's been traded a lot, and so he's like he feels like he like really needs to like perform and show, you know, that he, you know, is good enough. And I think he like falls for one of the athletic trainers. I believe that's all I know about it. But yeah, I've been wanting to read this series because I've been wanting to try a book just by her, because I've read books by just Elle Kennedy, but like I said, I've only read books co-authored with Serena Bowen. So I thought it was a perfect time to give that a shot. And then the other trope that I really enjoy is a why choose. And so I picked, well, for one, like I was like, oh, this TBR is very romance heavy, which like is fair because March I was very fantasy heavy, or romantasy heavy. But yeah, I think like the only like fantasy I have so far on this list is Phantasma, and then technically that's not even because of like my birthday or anything, it's just because it's the book club book. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna look for Why Choose that is also a fantasy. And I remember there's a few that I was going back and forth between two different series. I decided to go with Bonded by Thorns by Elizabeth Helen. This has been on my TBR for a long time. And I decided to go with this one because it says it's like kind of like it's a dark romance. It's like I said, it's a Why Choose. But it's like from what it says on Goodreads, it's kind of like a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Female character is like a bookworm, and I thought, okay, that's perfect because one, bookworm, me, and Beauty and the Beast was always my favorite Disney princess and Disney movie growing up, largely because of Belle and, you know, the books. So I thought that was a perfect choice. So it's the first book of the Beast and of the Briar series. I think that there are 4 books. Yeah, there are 4 books in the series. So, you know, it's in just like Beauty and the Beast fashion. Like her father like wanders into the Fey realm. She goes after him, and then to like, you know, save her father, she makes a bargain with this Fey. I think she has to like help them find their mates before they'll let her go. I think we can probably assume what happens with that. But yeah, I've been, like I said, it's been on my TBR for a while, so I thought, oh, this is a perfect time to try it out. I think it fits the theme really cute because, like I said, the Beauty and the Beast aspect, and it's a Why Choose, which is one of my favorites. But yeah, so those are the 10 books I hope to read in April for my birthday month. Like I said, I'm very excited for this TBR. I think obviously because it's filled with a lot of my favorite authors, for one thing. I'm most apprehensive about the Birthday Girl book. I'm not gonna lie. That age gap makes me very uncomfortable. But you know, it's fiction. I'm gonna read it. Well, I'll let you, I'll report back obviously when I do a wrap up for April if I liked it or not. So let me know if you've read any of these, if you like them. Obviously don't spoil anything for me. Also let me know if you're excited about these new releases coming out this month like I am from these authors. And then let me know what you plan on reading in April. I'm always curious to know what you guys are reading and what you guys are enjoying. But thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, I would appreciate it if you liked, commented, and subscribed. And I'll see you in the next video.